Great. Well, DeShawn Williams, thank you so much for sitting down to speak with us.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you want to first just take a moment to, tell us a little bit about yourself
Sure.
and your background?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm DeShawn Williams, a candidate for mayor for the city of Urbana. I am a husband. My wife Tracy and I have been married now for 11 years, which is been an amazing journey here thus far. I'm a father of two beautiful children. I have a 9-year-old son, Austin, and a 5-year-old daughter, Skylar. My current role, I am actually the chief deputy treasurer for Champaign County. And just obviously just a community member, and I am business owner, family member, friend, uncle, friend, cousin, all of the above. So um, excited to be here. So
Sure.
yes, indeed.
So back in 2022, I believe it
Mhm.
was you announced you were running for mayor of
Yes,
Urbana. Can you kind of just tell us why you decided then
sure.
to begin running for mayor and what's driving you to
Sure,
campaign
sure.
for the
That's a
position?
great question. Yeah, I announced December 15th, 2022. And looking back, it's amazing to think that here we are, with a few weeks, left, for the primary. But I remember when I announced, folks thought I was crazy for announcing, 2 years out, But I said that there was a reason behind that. Right, I wanted to take the time, to really build the foundation, of my support base. I didn't want people to support me based off of them, having thought that I was aligned with a party necessarily, or even a group of people. Right, I wanted people to have an opportunity to get to know the man, to get to know me as a husband, a father, a community leader. And I said that I wanted to take the time to meet with as many people, in the city of Urbana as possible so that I could earn their support. And I think that's, it's proven to have been, probably one of the best decisions, I've made up to this point. So,
Sure. What do you think are the greatest challenges that Urbana faces in the city's future?
sure, sure. We have a unique opportunity ahead of us, right? I will, give credit to the previous administration, for the things that they've, accomplished and whatnot over the last 8 years, here. But I think that there's a window of opportunity for, for growth, as far as just economic development standpoint. We've seen a significant, decrease in businesses and whatnot over the last couple of years, on Philo Road in particular. I know that the business district, downtown, Urbana, they are yearning, for a boost. And I think that, my history and my previous work, history and career, throughout within the banking world, I know what it takes to not only help get a business up and running, but to ensure that they grow and sustain, throughout their journey. So I think those are two really strong, issues that we have, ahead of us. And I feel as though I'm the right person, to tackle those, day one. Right. So, that's the thing. And there's also, been some issues just in regards to people's, thoughts around public safety. Right. And that's something that I absolutely, I'm excited to get into. Right. I've made a conscious effort to build a relationship with our new police chief, over the last year and some odd months that he's been here. And we've had, some very in-depth conversations, right? And understanding that we all want the same thing. We may just differ on how we get there, but I am encouraged that, he's been open to my ideas and I've been open to his ideas, right? And I think that he and I walking side by side into some of our most vulnerable communities, is going to be one of the winning solutions, to the things that we do moving forward.
Sure. And we'll be getting absolutely be talking about,
Sure.
policing in a
Yeah.
moment. I wanted to return a little bit. You mentioned your background,
Hmm.
as chief deputy treasurer
Hmm.
for Champaign County and also a background in banking, a
Hmm.
former county board member.
Hmm.
Just wanted to ask, what would you bring from your experience in those and other roles
Sure.
to the position of mayor?
Sure. Sure. Proven leadership, right? Proven leadership and having been successful in those spaces. I tell folks all the time that I have been responsible for helping fund and bring some of our most favorite restaurants and businesses within the community, both Urbana, Champaign, and Savoy. right? So again, I have the proven, work to attest that, okay, DeShawn knows how to grow a business. He knows how to, help develop in the economic development, space. And along with that, as far as just my time within the banking world, I most recently I was vice president of one of the largest institutions in the state. And that allowed for me to, hone in on my leadership skills, right? I oversaw multiple branches with large staff, right? So, I understand what it means to not only encourage, folks who are working with you and under you and things of that nature, but to help hone in on their strengths, right? To ensure that they have an opportunity to grow and develop, right? I am of the belief that, if you take care of what's happening internally, that's going to automatically spiral out to an outward appearance of folks being excited and encouraged to be at work and to grow and develop, and they'll be willing to follow you to the end of the road.
Sure. Let's talk about individual issues. We can first start with talking about housing.
Hmm.
Reading directly from Imagine Urbana, which is the draft comprehensive plan for the
Hmm.
city. It states that the city, quote, needs more housing of all types and at all price points. What would you do to expand housing options in
Sure.
the city?
Sure. So here's the thing, housing has definitely been a strong subject, right? Affordable housing is the thing that, everyone loves to mention, around that, and I've said, continuously, we need to get to a space where we're understanding what affordable housing even means, in the city of Urbana specifically, right? Typically it's referenced as, being no more than 30% of a household's income, right? But, we have to then turn around and say and ask, what does that mean for the folks who are, without jobs and things of that nature, right? So it's a broad scale, right? And I've said this time and time again, it's not a one size fits all. So, understanding that want to, put a lot of emphasis on understanding that 2/3 of the housing in the city is rental, right? So I want to get to a space where we are also understanding for as far as affordable housing and things of that nature is concerned, we need to focus in as well as rentals. We need to focus in on home ownership, right? And ensuring that that's affordable, for folks as well. In regards to the development of new housing, I am absolutely for it. As long as we are ensuring that it's being done in the proper zoned spaces, right? That we have a lot of open and vacant lots that that we can build on, right? For me, I would want to ensure that we are not compromising the integrity of our historical neighborhoods and things of that nature, right? And in the process of all of this, as we are developing and growing housing and things of that nature, we need to make sure that we are involving the community members. That is going to be my top priority, is ensuring that we are involving community members, because again, at the end of the day, they are the experts of these neighborhoods.
Sure. In terms of public safety,
Hmm.
the Urbana Police Department, as you know, has spoken about staffing and
Sure.
retention challenges. In the past, the department has asked for funding
Hmm.
to hire more officers, but I
Sure.
know that's at times drawn pushback from some residents.
Hmm.
How do you think the city should navigate that difference of opinions on, policing and public safety?
Sure. That's a great question. Listen, I've had multiple conversations again with our chief. Um, One of the things that that I recommended to him, was, hey, let's hire the minimum amount that's needed to ensure that we protect our community, right? That's the core that we need to do. We need to ensure that we are protecting our community, right? And then we can assess the results of the alternative response models, right? The alternative task force, which I know is, you probably are aware of, right? We can assess the results of the alternative task force, and then come back to evaluate the results of those, and then we can incrementally increase our staff, if that's what's necessary. We can do what's needed to to continue to grow both our staffing as well as the needs of the community. I think that one of the things that I've heard from from a lot of people as I've had these discussions in the past is folks just want to be made aware of what's going on, right? And for me, I think that while we are focused on the staffing model, as mayor, it's very important that I ensure that all of our departments are properly staffed, right? But in regards to the police department in particular, I want to also just stress that we're not unique in the fact that we're understaffed. That's a nationwide issue, right? So I think for me, I would like to see us work alongside them, the work alongside the police department to get into these neighborhoods to ensure that we are changing the hearts and the minds of folks so that they're not in a space where they have to commit a crime. I think once we really truly get to the root cause, everything else will take care of itself. But I am absolutely going to ensure that we're not handicapped in that sense of being completely understaffed.
As you know, Urbana conducted a partial special census to correct issues from
Hmm.
the 2020
Hmm.
population count,
Hmm.
and that comes as the city appears to be growing more diverse.
Hmm.
How do you think the city should respond to the results of that updated census to respond and serve its increasingly diverse population?
Sure. It's going to go back to, kind of one of the things that we were talking about, right? As far as the housing and things of that nature is concerned. Yes, there will absolutely need to be, an outlook on how we can go about growing, as our housing spaces are concerned. But again, that goes back to ensuring that we are properly zoned so that we can do these things without, again, compromising the current neighborhoods and whatnot. As far as the growth is concerned with the census in particular, I'm excited about the new numbers coming in. I'm excited about the growth because that opens the door for us to be able to ensure that we are receiving more federal funding. Well, considering what has taken place over the last few weeks, couple weeks, but that opens the door for us to ensure that we are receiving more funding opportunities and more opportunities to continue to grow and expand as we need to be. So.
Sure. We spoke about this a little bit
Mhm.
earlier, but just wanted to return to your thoughts on Urbana's current officials from Mayor Marlin, City
Mhm.
Manager Mitten, Chief Boone, and other City Council members. How would you rate their performance, and is there anything that they think they could be doing better?
Sure. That's a great question. It's almost a trick question, I feel like, but no, I'm joking. Listen, I feel as though that they've done a great job in the sense that they've done what they needed to do with the hands that they've been dealt. Right? Do I feel as though that there are opportunities that have been missed? Absolutely. Right? Do I feel that they've missed some opportunities with community and engagement and whatnot? Yes. But I also feel, I know that, Mayor Marlin in particular, she was dealt a hand with COVID, and the pandemic, right? So I can only imagine, some of the stresses that she, had dealt with, in that time. Again, there's opportunities. There's always room for growth, in that space. In regards to our police chief, I feel as though he hasn't had enough time to really impact and do the things that he's wanting to do. So I'm looking forward to working alongside him to see some of those visions come to light. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with him. But in regards to the administration as a whole, I feel as though they did what they can. They did their very best at their job at hand. For me, again, we are running because we feel that we can bring something new. We feel as though we can bring a new perspective. We feel as though we have a strong vision, ahead of us, and it's going to be exciting, as we continue to move forward.
Sure. Yeah. You spoke a little bit about you know fostering development and not just Urbana, but some of the neighboring communities.
Sure.
Wanted to ask about if you have any ideas for how Urbana, as well as Champaign,
Hmm.
Savoy, Rantoul, other neighboring communities, how they can work together for the purpose of economic development.
Absolutely. Listen, we sit right in the middle of one of the biggest universities in the state, right? I feel as though there's a tremendous opportunity for us to collaborate and grow our twin cities in particular, right? I've been blessed to have built a really strong relationship with our Champaign mayor. And honestly, I'm looking forward to working alongside, her in particular. I think that they've done some really amazing things, as they continue to grow and prosper. And I'm looking forward to us joining forces and ensuring that we bring some of that to the city of Urbana. Just and then that ranges from just the street festivals to some of the outdoor events and things of that nature that we see bringing a lot of traffic to downtown Champaign, downtown, even Savoy is developing like crazy, and for me, I'm going to ensure that the city of Urbana isn't left behind in that regard. So I'm looking forward to collaborations. I'm looking forward to working alongside folks, other city governments, other city officials to ensure that we're right there at the table.
Sure. Taking a look, taking a step back and
Hmm.
looking at the statewide level, as you likely know, Illinois is facing a $3 billion deficit.
Hmm.
What do you think Urbana is looking for in terms of support from the state and state lawmakers in Springfield
Hmm.
while the state is confronting that major challenge?
Sure,
Challenge.
sure. Listen, I have a tremendous amount of respect and I believe in our governor. I am encouraged by his leadership, and I know that between him and our state legislators that they will continue to fight for our state. So for me, I have full confidence that they will continue to fight and that we will that we'll see success in that space. I've been blessed to have built relationships with again our state legislators, our congressmen and women, and I think that that's going to be very important as far as the city is concerned. Me having those relationships and having built that work collaboration, that work relationship, having built that. Me going into the office day one, having those relationships is going to be extremely important, for our city as we move forward, and understanding what the funding and things of that nature will look like from the state level.
Sure. Yeah. And I think our last question
Mhm.
for today, if you were in New York or Los Angeles or any other coastal city, distant
Sure.
community, and someone asked you what Urbana has to offer, what would you tell them?
I would tell them Urbana has diversity. Urbana has a genuine love. Urbana has an opportunity to grow, prosper, succeed. One thing that has been very clear to me, is that folks within this community, they want to see their city at its very best. They want to have that opportunity to collaborate with not just a said group, but an entire, a bigger, a global, kind of array of folks, and for me, that has been one of the biggest successes, of this campaign is seeing folks and their love for this city, and I think that it's going to be extremely important that we continue to express that, and that we, as far as my administration is concerned, when I take office, we will be an administration for the city, right? We are absolutely going to ensure that we involve everyone in our community, right? No matter your background, no matter your upbringing, you will have a voice in our community, in our city, in our government. So for me, that's what I would tell them. It's one of the honestly one of the greatest cities in this country, and I am honored to be here and raising my family here. So that's it.
Yeah. And is there anything else you wanted to share about your campaign or your priorities?
Yeah, no, listen, I will say this, understanding that, if you support me, if you vote for me, you know that I still believe in the purity of public service, right? And no matter what takes place, February 25th, you're still going to see me out in the community. I'm still going to be doing this work. We're still going to be serving our community, right? This isn't something that I started doing when I announced my candidacy, right? This is something that we have been doing for a very long time. And God willing, we will continue to do that work. So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate all of the folks who have supported me up to this point. And yeah, we got a few weeks left. Let's finish strong.
Well, DeShawn Williams, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you for having me. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.